Welcome to Daily English Room. Today's topic is fashion. Let's begin with introducing yourselves.
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm 28 and I work as a software engineer in China. I'm passionate about technology and I'm learning English to advance my career.
Hello, my name is Amira. I'm 33, from Morocco, and I'm both a part-time ESL teacher and a full-time mother. I'm raising my children to be bilingual in Arabic and French, but I'm also learning English to help support their education and to improve my teaching career.
Hi, I'm Carlos. I'm 35 and I'm a chef from Brazil. I love cooking and sharing Brazilian cuisine with others.
Hi, I'm Yuki. I'm 30, and I work as a graphic designer in Japan. I've always been interested in Western pop culture, and English is key to understanding it better.
Hello, I'm Luca. I'm 40 and I'm a tour guide from Slovenia, specializing in adventure tourism. I guide people from all over the world, and English is the main language we use.
Hi, my name is Aisha. I'm 22 and I'm a university student from Nigeria, studying environmental science. I speak multiple languages, but English is the most important for my studies, especially because I want to work on global climate change initiatives.
Do you care about fashion?
To be honest, I don't care too much about fashion in the traditional sense. As a software engineer, my priority is comfort and functionality. However, I do pay attention to tech-related fashion trends, like smart clothing or wearable devices. I guess you could say I care about tech fashion more than regular fashion. It's interesting to see how technology is becoming a part of what we wear.
I do care about fashion, but my perspective has changed since becoming a mother. Now, I care more about finding a balance between style, comfort, and practicality. I love incorporating elements of traditional Moroccan fashion into my everyday wear, especially when I'm teaching. It's a way to express my cultural identity and often becomes a talking point in my English classes. So yes, I care about fashion, but in a way that aligns with my roles as a mother and teacher.
As a chef, I care about fashion in a professional context. In the kitchen, the right attire is crucial for safety and hygiene. Outside of work, I enjoy expressing myself through clothing, often wearing items that reflect my Brazilian heritage or my passion for food. So while I'm not obsessed with fashion trends, I do care about how I present myself and use fashion as a form of self-expression.
Yes, I care a lot about fashion. As a graphic designer, visual expression is a big part of my life, and that extends to how I dress. I love experimenting with different styles, especially mixing elements of Japanese and Western fashion. For me, fashion is another creative outlet, almost like a daily art project. It's fun to see how clothing can influence mood and confidence, both in personal and professional settings.
In my personal life, I don't pay too much attention to fashion trends. However, as a tour guide, I do care about looking presentable and appropriate for various situations. My focus is more on functional fashion, clothing that can withstand outdoor adventures while still looking decent. So while I might not be fashion forward, I do care about having the right clothing for the job and making a good impression on my clients.
Yes, I care about fashion, but perhaps not in the conventional sense. For me, fashion is a way to express my values, especially my commitment to environmental sustainability. I care deeply about the ethical and environmental implications of what I wear. I enjoy creating stylish outfits from second-hand clothes or sustainably produced items. So, while I don't follow fast fashion trends, I do care about creating a personal style that aligns with my beliefs and contributes to positive change in the fashion industry.
How important are clothes and fashion to you?
To be honest, clothes and fashion aren't at the top of my priority list. They're important to me in a functional sense. I need comfortable, practical clothes that allow me to focus on my work as a software engineer. I do care about looking presentable and professional, especially for meetings or tech conferences. And I enjoy incorporating subtle tech-inspired elements into my wardrobe. But I'm not one to follow fashion trends closely or spend a lot of time thinking about my outfits. For me, clothes are more about utility and personal comfort than making a fashion statement. That said, I do recognize that how I dress can impact how I'm perceived in professional settings, so I put some thought into it for those occasions.
Clothes and fashion are moderately important to me, but in a practical and cultural sense rather than a trend-following one. As a teacher, I need to dress professionally and modestly, which shapes a lot of my fashion choices. My clothes are an important way for me to express my Moroccan heritage, especially in a multicultural environment. I love incorporating traditional elements into my everyday wear. As a mother, practicality has become even more important. I need clothes that can withstand the demands of parenting while still looking put together. While I enjoy feeling good in what I wear, I'd say that for me, clothes are more about cultural expression, professionalism, and functionality than high fashion.
In my profession as a chef, clothes are incredibly important, but more for functional reasons than fashion. The right chef's uniform is crucial for safety, hygiene, and comfort in the kitchen. Outside of work, I'd say fashion is moderately important to me. I enjoy expressing my personality and Brazilian culture through my clothes, especially when I'm out socializing or attending food events. I believe that dressing well can boost confidence, which is important in my industry. However, I'm not obsessed with following the latest trends. For me, it's more about finding a personal style that reflects who I am and where I come from, while also being comfortable and appropriate for various situations.
Clothes and fashion are very important to me, both personally and professionally. As a graphic designer, I see fashion as another form of visual expression and creativity. I love experimenting with different styles and using my outfits as a way to showcase my personality. In Japan, especially in creative industries, your appearance can say a lot about your design sensibilities. I also find that what I wear affects my mood and confidence, which in turn impacts my work. Fashion is a huge source of inspiration for me. I often draw ideas for my design work from fashion trends and street style. While I don't think everyone needs to be fashion obsessed, for me, it's an integral part of my self-expression and professional identity.
In my line of work as an adventure tour guide, clothes are extremely important, but not in the traditional fashion sense. The right clothing can literally be a matter of safety and comfort in the outdoors. I need reliable, high-performance gear that can withstand various weather conditions and activities. In that context, function definitely trumps fashion. However, I do care about looking professional and put together for my clients, even in rugged settings. Outside of work, I'd say fashion is moderately important to me. I appreciate well-made, ethically produced clothing, and I like to look good. But I'm more interested in timeless style and quality rather than following the latest trends. Overall, for me, the importance of clothes lies in their functionality, durability, and ability to convey a professional image.
Clothes and fashion are quite important to me, but perhaps not in the conventional sense. For me, fashion is a powerful tool for self-expression, cultural celebration, and promoting sustainability. I see my clothing choices as a way to live my values, by supporting ethical brands, choosing second-hand items, and showcasing Nigerian designs. As an environmental science student, I'm very conscious of the impact of the fashion industry on our planet, so making responsible clothing choices is crucial to me. I also believe that what we wear can spark conversations and raise awareness about important issues. While I don't follow fast fashion trends, I do put thought and effort into curating a wardrobe that reflects my personality, cultural heritage, and commitment to sustainability. So yes, fashion is important to me, as a form of personal expression, cultural pride, and environmental responsibility.
How often do you buy clothes?
I don't buy clothes very often, maybe once every 3 or 4 months. As a software engineer, I don't need a varied wardrobe, and I prefer to invest in durable, comfortable items that last. However, I do update my wardrobe with tech accessories more frequently, like getting a new smartwatch or a jacket with built-in headphones. Those I might buy every couple of months if something interesting comes out.
Since becoming a mother, my clothes shopping habits have changed quite a bit. I now buy clothes about once every 2 months, but it's often more for my children than for myself. When I do buy for myself, I look for versatile pieces that can work for both teaching and everyday wear. I also enjoy visiting local markets a few times a year to pick up traditional Moroccan pieces to incorporate into my wardrobe.
In my line of work as a chef, I need to replace my work clothes fairly regularly due to wear and tear in the kitchen. I'd say I buy new chef's jackets or pants every month or two. For my personal wardrobe, though, I shop less frequently, maybe once every 3 months. I prefer quality over quantity, so when I do buy personal clothes, I invest in pieces that will last and reflect my style.
I love fashion, so I tend to buy clothes quite often, probably 2 or 3 times a month. However, I'm conscious about overconsumption, so these aren't always big purchases. Sometimes it's just a unique accessory or a vintage piece I've found. I also participate in clothing swaps with friends every couple of months, which is a fun way to refresh my wardrobe without always buying new items.
In my job as a tour guide, durability is key, so I don't need to buy clothes too often. For work, I usually buy new gear once or twice a year, typically before the busy tourist season starts. For my personal wardrobe, I'm pretty minimalist. I might buy new clothes every 4 to 6 months, usually when something wears out and needs replacing. Quality outdoor wear can be expensive, so I prefer to invest in pieces that last.
As someone committed to sustainable fashion, I try to limit my new clothing purchases. I'd say I buy second-hand clothes about once a month, usually from thrift stores or online marketplaces. For new items, particularly if I need something specific for my environmental science fieldwork, I might buy from sustainable brands once every 3 or 4 months. I also upcycle or modify my existing clothes regularly, which helps me feel like I have new items without actually buying more.
How do you keep up with the fashion trend?
To be honest, I don't really keep up with mainstream fashion trends. However, I do stay updated on tech-related fashion. I follow several tech blogs and YouTube channels that sometimes feature wearable technology or smart clothing. I also keep an eye on what my colleagues are wearing, especially when attending tech conferences or meetups. It's more about staying current with functional, tech-integrated fashion rather than following seasonal trends.
As a busy mom and teacher, I don't actively follow fashion trends, but I do pick up on them indirectly. I often notice what my students and their parents are wearing, which gives me an idea of current styles. I also follow a few Moroccan fashion influencers on Instagram who blend traditional and modern styles. When I have time, I enjoy flipping through magazines at the salon, which helps me stay somewhat updated on international trends.
In the culinary world, keeping up with trends is more about chefs' uniforms and kitchen attire. I stay updated by attending food industry events and trade shows where new chefware is often showcased. For personal fashion, I'm not too concerned with trends, but I do pay attention to what international chefs wear during TV appearances or in their social media posts. It's interesting to see how chef fashion is evolving beyond the traditional white uniform.
As a graphic designer interested in pop culture, keeping up with fashion trends is both a hobby and a part of my job. I follow a lot of fashion accounts on Instagram and Pinterest, both Japanese and international. I also regularly check fashion websites and blogs. Tokyo's street fashion is always evolving, so I love observing what people wear in trendy areas like Harajuku or Shibuya. Fashion weeks in Tokyo, New York, and Paris are also big sources of inspiration for me.
In my line of work, fashion trends are less about style and more about innovations in outdoor and adventure wear. I keep up with these by subscribing to outdoor lifestyle magazines and following brands that specialize in adventure gear on social media. I also attend outdoor and tourism expos where new products are often launched. It's important for me to know about the latest developments in durable, weather-resistant clothing to ensure I'm always prepared for my tours.
As an environmental science student, I'm more interested in sustainable fashion trends rather than fast fashion. I follow several eco-friendly fashion brands and sustainability advocates on social media. I also subscribe to newsletters from organizations that promote ethical fashion. I enjoy reading about innovations in sustainable materials and production methods. Additionally, I participate in online forums and student groups focused on sustainable living, where we often discuss and share ideas about eco-conscious fashion choices.
What do you think about people who don't care about fashion?
As someone who doesn't pay much attention to fashion myself, I can certainly relate to those who don't care about it. In the tech industry, it's quite common. I think it's perfectly fine if people prioritize other aspects of their lives over fashion. What matters most is that you're comfortable and that your clothes are appropriate for your work and lifestyle. However, I do think there's value in presenting yourself well in professional settings, even if you're not following the latest trends.
I believe everyone has the right to choose what they value, and if fashion isn't a priority for someone, that's completely fine. As a teacher, I've learned that people express themselves in many ways beyond clothing. However, I do think there's a basic level of attention to appearance that's helpful in social and professional settings. It's not about being fashionable, but about showing respect for yourself and others. But ultimately, I think kindness and character are far more important than how fashionable someone is.
Outside of work, I believe people should wear what makes them comfortable and confident. Fashion can be a form of self-expression, but it's certainly not the only one. There are many other wonderful ways people can express their creativity and personality.
As someone who loves fashion, I sometimes find it hard to understand people who don't care about it at all. But I respect that everyone has different interests and priorities. Fashion is a form of art and self-expression for me, but I recognize that others might express themselves through different mediums. I do think that fashion, at its core, is about more than just clothes. It's about culture, identity, and sometimes even social statements. So while someone might not care about trending styles, their choice of clothing still says something about them, even if unintentionally.
In my work as a tour guide, I meet all kinds of people, including many who don't care about fashion. Honestly, I think it's refreshing. When you're out in nature, experiencing new adventures, what you're wearing becomes much less important than your attitude and your willingness to embrace new experiences. As long as people are dressed appropriately for the activities and the weather, I don't think it matters whether they care about fashion or not. Often, those who aren't preoccupied with their appearance are more ready to fully immerse themselves in the experience.
I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, I respect people's choice not to focus on fashion if it's not important to them. There are certainly more pressing issues in the world. On the other hand, I believe that our choices as consumers, including fashion choices, have real impacts on people and the environment. So while I don't think everyone needs to be fashionable, I do think it's important for everyone to be mindful about where their clothes come from and how they're made. But I also recognize that not everyone has the privilege to prioritize these concerns. Ultimately, I think it's more important to judge people by their actions and character rather than their interest in fashion.
What influences your clothing purchases the most?
For me, functionality and comfort influence my clothing purchases the most. As a software engineer, I spend long hours at my computer, so I need clothes that are comfortable for sitting and don't restrict movement. I also look for durable fabrics that can withstand frequent washing. Price is another factor. I prefer investing in quality basics that last longer. Lastly, I'm drawn to clothes with subtle tech-inspired designs or smart features, like pockets designed for gadgets or fabrics that resist static electricity. These elements align with my professional interests and lifestyle.
My role as both a mother and a teacher greatly influences my clothing purchases. Practicality is key. I need clothes that can withstand the wear and tear of chasing after kids and standing in front of a classroom. I look for fabrics that are easy to clean and don't wrinkle easily. Cultural appropriateness is also important, as I need to dress modestly for work. I'm also influenced by versatility. I prefer pieces that can transition from teaching to running errands or attending parent-teacher meetings. Lastly, I'm drawn to clothes that incorporate elements of traditional Moroccan design, as it's a way to express my cultural identity in my everyday life.
In my profession as a chef, safety and hygiene standards influence my work clothing purchases the most. I need chef's jackets and pants that are flame-resistant, comfortable for long hours of standing, and easy to clean. For my personal wardrobe, comfort is still key, but I'm also influenced by my Brazilian heritage. I try to choose clothes made from natural, biodegradable fabrics when possible. Lastly, as I'm hoping to work in international restaurants, I look for pieces that can easily adapt to different cultural settings.
As a graphic designer passionate about pop culture, my clothing purchases are heavily influenced by current trends, especially those blending Japanese and Western styles. I'm always looking for unique pieces that make a statement. Color and pattern are huge factors for me. I love clothes that play with interesting visual elements. Comfort is important too, especially for long days at the design studio. I'm also influenced by the story behind the clothes. I'm drawn to independent designers and brands that have interesting concepts or sustainable practices. Lastly, versatility influences my choices. I like pieces that I can style in multiple ways for both work and social occasions.
Given my job as an adventure tour guide, performance and durability influence my clothing purchases the most. I need clothes that can withstand various weather conditions and rugged environments. I look for features like water resistance, breathability, and UV protection. Brand reputation is important to me. I trust brands known for quality outdoor wear. Versatility is another key factor. I prefer clothes that can transition from the trail to a casual dinner with clients. While style isn't my top priority, I do consider appearance to some extent, as I need to look presentable as the face of my tour company. Lastly, ethical production is becoming increasingly important to me, as I believe in protecting the environments I guide in.
As an environmental science student committed to sustainability, ethical and eco-friendly production methods influence my clothing purchases the most. I prioritize second-hand clothing to reduce waste, and when buying new, I look for brands with transparent, sustainable supply chains. The environmental impact of fabrics is a big factor. I prefer natural, biodegradable materials or recycled synthetics. Versatility is also key. I look for pieces that can be styled multiple ways to maximize use. Durability is important too, as I need clothes that can withstand fieldwork. While I care about style, it's secondary to these other factors. I'm also influenced by traditional Nigerian designs, as I like to incorporate elements of my cultural heritage into my wardrobe.
Do you think it is easier to shop for clothes online or in physical stores?
As a software engineer, I'm naturally inclined towards online shopping. I find it easier and more efficient to shop for clothes online. The ability to quickly filter options based on size, color, and features saves me a lot of time. Plus, many sites have detailed size guides and customer reviews which help me make informed decisions. However, I do acknowledge that for certain items, especially those with technical features, it can be beneficial to see and feel them in person. But overall, the convenience of online shopping, especially with easy return policies, makes it my preferred method.
For me, it's a bit of both, but I generally find physical stores easier, especially now that I'm a mother. Online shopping is convenient when I'm short on time, and it allows me to browse a wider range of options. However, with children's clothes and my own work attire, I prefer to shop in physical stores. It's important for me to feel the fabric quality, especially for clothes I'll wear while teaching. Plus, trying things on helps me ensure a proper fit, which is crucial for maintaining a professional appearance. Shopping in stores also allows me to immediately see how colors look in natural light, which can be tricky to gauge online.
In my experience, it's easier to shop for everyday clothes online, but for my chef's uniforms and specialized kitchenware, I prefer physical stores. Online shopping offers a wider variety and often better prices, which is great for casual wear. However, for professional attire, I need to be certain about the quality, fit, and functionality. It's crucial that my work clothes can withstand the demands of a busy kitchen. Plus, in physical stores, I can get immediate advice from salespeople who understand the specific needs of chefs. That said, once I find a brand I trust, I'm comfortable reordering online.
As a graphic designer who loves fashion, I enjoy both online and in-store shopping, but for different reasons. Online shopping is easier for keeping up with trends and finding unique pieces from international brands. It's also great for researching and comparing styles. However, I find physical stores easier for actually making purchases, especially for statement pieces or anything with an unusual cut. Being able to try things on and see how they look in person is invaluable, particularly for the bold, fashion-forward styles I love. Plus, shopping in trendy districts like Harajuku gives me inspiration that I can't get online. So while online is easier for research, I find physical stores easier for the actual buying process.
In my line of work as an adventure tour guide, I find it easier to shop for clothes in physical stores, particularly in outdoor and sports shops. The main reason is that I need to be absolutely certain about the quality and functionality of my gear. It's crucial to feel the thickness of a jacket, test the flexibility of hiking pants, or check the grip on boots. These are things you can't fully assess online. Also, staff in specialized outdoor stores often have personal experience with the products and can offer valuable advice. That said, I do find online shopping useful for comparing prices and reading user reviews, especially for brands I'm already familiar with.
As someone committed to sustainable fashion, I find it easier to shop for clothes in physical stores, particularly second-hand and vintage shops. While online platforms for second-hand clothing are growing, I prefer to inspect items in person to check their condition and quality. It's also easier to judge fit and comfort when you can try things on. However, for new, sustainably made items, I often find online shopping easier. Many eco-friendly brands are primarily online, and their websites usually provide detailed information about their materials and production processes. So, I'd say it depends on whether I'm shopping second-hand or for new sustainable items. Overall, though, I enjoy the tactile experience of shopping in physical stores and the opportunity to discover unique pieces.
What type of clothes do you like?
I'm a fan of comfortable, low-maintenance clothes that also have a bit of a tech edge. I really like breathable, wrinkle-resistant fabrics. They're perfect for long hours at the computer. My go-to outfit is usually a pair of dark jeans with a simple, well-fitted t-shirt or a casual button-up shirt. I'm particularly fond of clothes with subtle tech-inspired designs, like circuit board patterns or binary code motifs. I also appreciate clothing with hidden functionalities, like shirts with built-in microfiber cloths for cleaning glasses or jackets with multiple pockets designed for various gadgets. For work events, I like smart casual options that are comfortable but still look professional, like chinos and a blazer.
I love clothes that blend comfort, professionalism, and a touch of my Moroccan heritage. For teaching, I prefer modest, elegant outfits that allow me to move easily around the classroom. Flowing maxi skirts paired with comfortable blouses are a favorite. I'm also fond of modern takes on traditional Moroccan garments, like stylish kaftans that I can wear both at work and for special occasions. I like clothes in rich, warm colors and with subtle embroidery. It's a nod to Moroccan craftsmanship. For everyday wear, especially when I'm with my kids, I go for practical, easy-to-wash clothes, but I try to keep them stylish with accessories like colorful scarves or traditional Moroccan jewelry.
In my professional life as a chef, I appreciate high-quality, durable chef's jackets and pants. I particularly like the modern, stylish chef wear that's becoming popular, jackets with a bit more flair or interesting details. Outside of work, I'm drawn to clothes that reflect my Brazilian heritage. I love vibrant colors and bold patterns, especially in casual shirts. Comfortable, breathable fabrics are a must in Brazil's climate. I'm also a fan of smart casual looks for dining out or social events, things like linen shirts and well-fitted chinos. Lately, I've been gravitating towards clothes made from sustainable materials, as I'm becoming more conscious of the environmental impact of fashion.
I absolutely adore fashion that pushes boundaries and mixes different styles. I'm a big fan of Japanese street fashion, especially styles that blend traditional Japanese elements with modern, Western-inspired looks. I love experimenting with layers, unusual silhouettes, and eye-catching accessories. Harajuku-style fashion really appeals to me. It's bold, creative, and allows for so much self-expression. I also appreciate high-quality basics that I can mix and match with my more statement pieces. For work, I like clothes that are professional but still creative, often incorporating interesting patterns or unique design elements. Overall, I'm drawn to clothes that tell a story or make a statement. Fashion is another canvas for my creativity as a graphic designer.
Given my job as an adventure tour guide, I'm most attracted to high-performance outdoor clothing. I love gear that can withstand tough conditions while still looking presentable. Quick-dry, breathable fabrics are a must. I'm a big fan of convertible pants that can switch from long to short. They're perfect for changing weather conditions. For tops, I like layers, a good moisture-wicking base layer, a warm mid-layer, and a waterproof outer shell. When I'm not working, I prefer a rugged, outdoorsy look, well-worn jeans, flannel shirts, and sturdy boots. I also appreciate clothes from brands that prioritize sustainability and ethical production. For me, the ideal clothing combines functionality, durability, and environmental responsibility.
I'm passionate about sustainable and ethical fashion, so I'm drawn to clothes that align with these values. I love pieces made from organic, recycled, or innovative eco-friendly materials. Vintage and second-hand clothes are a big part of my wardrobe. I enjoy giving new life to pre-loved items. In terms of style, I like to incorporate elements of traditional Nigerian fashion into modern, global trends. I'm a fan of bold, colorful African prints and love finding ways to style them for both casual and more formal settings. For my environmental fieldwork, I need practical, durable clothes, so I appreciate well-made basics in natural fabrics. Overall, I like clothes that tell a story, whether it's about cultural heritage, sustainability, or both. Fashion, for me, is a way to express my identity and values.
Are there any clothing items that you dislike to wear?
As a software engineer who prioritizes comfort, there are definitely some items I dislike wearing. Formal suits and ties are at the top of that list. They feel restrictive and uncomfortable, especially when I'm trying to focus on coding. I also dislike shoes that aren't breathable, like certain dress shoes. They're impractical for long hours at a desk. Oh, and I'm not a fan of overly baggy clothes. They can get in the way when I'm working with hardware. Lastly, I tend to avoid clothes with loud, attention-grabbing designs. In the tech world, and personally, I prefer a more understated look.
In my role as a teacher and a mother, there are a few clothing items I try to avoid. High heels are definitely on that list. They're just not practical for moving around a classroom or chasing after children. I also dislike clothes that wrinkle easily, like certain types of linen, because they can look unprofessional quickly. As someone who values modesty, I'm not comfortable with low-cut tops or very short skirts. Additionally, I tend to avoid pure white clothing items, especially tops. Between the classroom chalk and my children's messy hands, they're just too hard to keep clean.
In the kitchen, safety and comfort are paramount, so there are certainly things I dislike wearing. Loose-fitting clothes are a big no-no as they can be dangerous around hot stoves and sharp knives. I also dislike wearing synthetic fabrics in the kitchen as they can melt if they come into contact with high heat. Outside of work, I'm not a fan of overly tight clothing, it's just not comfortable in Brazil's warm climate. I also tend to avoid bland, monochromatic outfits. They just don't feel true to my personality or Brazilian culture. Oh, and flip-flops outside of the beach. I know they're popular, but I prefer more supportive footwear.
Even though I love experimenting with fashion, there are some items I dislike wearing. I'm not a fan of ultra-conservative, plain business suits. They feel too restrictive for my creative personality. I also dislike fast fashion items that fall apart after a few wears. I prefer quality pieces that last. Extremely high heels are another item I avoid. They're just not practical for my busy lifestyle, especially when I'm running around Tokyo for work or inspiration. I'm also not fond of overly cutesy or childish clothing styles. While they're popular in some Japanese fashion subcultures, I prefer a more sophisticated, edgy look.
Given my job as an adventure tour guide, there are definitely some clothing items I dislike and avoid. Jeans are high on that list for work. They're heavy, don't dry quickly, and can be really uncomfortable when wet or in hot weather. I'm also not a fan of cotton t-shirts for similar reasons. They retain moisture and can lead to chafing on long hikes. In terms of footwear, I dislike any shoes without proper ankle support or good traction. Fashion-forward but impractical outdoor gear is another pet peeve. I need reliable, functional clothing, not just stuff that looks good for photos. Outside of work, I'm not comfortable in very formal wear like tuxedos. They just don't feel like me.
As someone committed to sustainable and ethical fashion, there are certainly items I dislike and avoid wearing. Fast fashion pieces that are clearly made to be worn only a few times before falling apart are at the top of my list. I also dislike clothing made from non-biodegradable synthetic materials, especially those that release microplastics when washed. From a style perspective, I'm not a fan of clothes that appropriate traditional African designs without proper understanding or respect for their cultural significance. In terms of practicality for my environmental science work, I dislike flimsy shoes or sandals. They're just not suitable for fieldwork. Lastly, I tend to avoid overly logos or brand-heavy clothing. I prefer my clothes to express my personal style and values rather than advertise for a brand.
Have you ever worn the traditional clothes?
Yes, I have worn traditional Chinese clothing on a few occasions, mostly for important cultural festivals or family events. During Chinese New Year, I sometimes wear a tangzuang, which is a type of traditional Chinese jacket. I've also worn a chongshan, a long robe for men, for a cousin's wedding. While I don't wear these clothes often, I do appreciate the connection to my cultural heritage they provide. It's interesting to see how some modern designers are incorporating elements of traditional Chinese clothing into contemporary fashion. As someone in tech, I find the contrast between my usual casual work attire and these traditional garments quite fascinating.
Absolutely. I wear traditional Moroccan clothes quite often, actually. For special occasions like weddings or Eid celebrations, I love wearing a kaftan, which is a long, elegant robe often adorned with intricate embroidery. In my daily life, I frequently incorporate elements of traditional dress into my modern outfits. For example, I might wear a traditional Moroccan tunic, called a jabador, with jeans, or use traditional Moroccan scarves and jewelry to accessorize my work outfits. It's a way for me to honor my heritage while adapting to contemporary life. I also enjoy teaching my students about traditional Moroccan clothing as part of our cultural discussions in English class.
While Brazil doesn't have one specific, traditional outfit that's widely worn, we do have traditional clothes associated with certain cultural events or regions. I've worn traditional outfits for Carnival, which vary depending on the theme or region being represented. Once, I participated in a Festa Junina, a June festival with roots in Portuguese tradition, where I wore the typical outfit of a plaid shirt, straw hat, and painted on freckles and mustache. In my work as a chef, I'm also very interested in the traditional clothes of different Brazilian culinary traditions, like the all-white outfits worn in Baian cuisine. While these aren't everyday wear, they're important parts of our diverse cultural heritage.
Yes, I have worn traditional Japanese clothes on several occasions and I absolutely love them. I wear a yukata, which is a casual summer kimono, to summer festivals. For more formal events like coming-of-age ceremonies or weddings, I've worn a full kimono, which is an elaborate process requiring assistance to put on correctly. I'm fascinated by how these traditional garments have influenced modern fashion. In my work as a graphic designer, I often draw inspiration from the patterns and aesthetics of traditional Japanese clothing. I've even incorporated elements of kimono design into some of my modern outfits. While I don't wear full traditional dress often, I really enjoy the connection to Japanese culture and history it provides.
Yes, I have worn traditional Slovenian clothes, although it's not very common in everyday life. We call our traditional outfit Narodna nosa. I've worn it a few times for cultural festivals and events promoting Slovenian heritage. The men's outfit typically includes a white shirt, a vest, knee-length trousers, white socks, and black shoes. There's also often a hat involved. As a tour guide, I sometimes discuss traditional Slovenian clothing with my clients as part of exploring our culture. While these clothes aren't practical for my usual adventure tours, they're an important part of our cultural identity. It's interesting to see how some elements of traditional dress, like certain patterns or accessories, are sometimes incorporated into modern Slovenian fashion.
Absolutely. I love wearing traditional Nigerian clothes and do so quite often. Nigeria has a rich variety of traditional outfits from different ethnic groups. Being Yoruba, I often wear iro and buba, which is a wrapped skirt and loose blouse, usually made from beautifully patterned Ankara fabric. For special occasions, I might wear a full aso oke outfit, which is a hand-woven textile traditionally used for ceremonial wear. I also enjoy wearing gele, the elaborate head tie that's a staple of Nigerian women's fashion. In my day-to-day life, I often mix traditional elements with modern clothing. For instance, I might wear a traditional Ankara print shirt with jeans. As an environmental science student, I'm particularly interested in the sustainable aspects of our traditional clothing practices, like using local, natural materials and time-honored production techniques. Wearing traditional clothes is not just about fashion for me, it's a way to celebrate my culture and stay connected to my roots.
What's your go-to outfit for a casual day out?
For a casual day out, I usually go for a comfortable pair of dark jeans, a plain t-shirt or a casual button-up shirt, and a pair of clean sneakers. I might add a lightweight jacket if the weather calls for it. I like to keep it simple and functional, but still put together.
My go-to casual outfit is a long, flowy skirt in a bright color, paired with a comfortable blouse. I'll often add a light cardigan and some traditional Moroccan jewelry. For footwear, I prefer comfortable flats. This outfit is modest, practical for running after my kids, but still feels stylish.
I love a good pair of well-fitted jeans, a vibrant Brazilian-made t-shirt or a light linen shirt, and comfortable loafers. I usually add a nice watch to complete the look. It's casual but still has that Brazilian flair.
My casual outfit usually involves mixing different styles. I might wear a vintage band t-shirt with a high-waisted skirt, or wide leg pants with a crop top. I love layering, so I'll often add a denim or leather jacket. Accessories are key. Maybe some chunky boots and quirky earrings to finish the look.
Even on casual days, I tend to go for clothes that could handle a spontaneous hike. I'll wear comfortable hiking pants, a moisture-wicking t-shirt, and sturdy walking shoes. I'll usually have a lightweight, waterproof jacket tied around my waist. You never know when the weather might change.
I love mixing traditional and modern elements in my casual wear. I might pair Ankara print palazzo pants with a simple white t-shirt, or wear a modern cut dress made from traditional Nigerian fabric. I always try to incorporate at least one second-hand or upcycled item, like a vintage denim jacket.
How has your style evolved over the years?
My style has definitely become more intentional over the years. When I first started in tech, I didn't give much thought to what I wore. It was all about comfort and functionality. But as I've progressed in my career, I've learned the importance of presenting a more polished image, especially for client meetings or conferences. I've started investing in better quality basics and have incorporated more smart casual pieces into my wardrobe. I've also become more interested in tech-inspired fashion, which allows me to express my passion for technology through my clothes.
My style has changed quite a bit, especially since becoming a mother and teacher. In my younger years, I experimented more with Western fashion trends. But as I've grown older, I've found myself drawn back to my Moroccan roots. I've learned to blend traditional Moroccan elements with modern, professional attire. Becoming a mother has also made me prioritize practicality more. I look for clothes that are both stylish and able to withstand the demands of a busy day with kids. Teaching has influenced me to maintain a professional yet approachable look. Overall, I'd say my style has evolved to be a more authentic reflection of my identity and roles in life.
My style has definitely matured along with my culinary career. When I first started cooking, it was all about function, basic chef's whites and comfortable shoes. As I've grown in my career, I've started to appreciate how my appearance can reflect my culinary philosophy. I now choose chef's jackets with more modern cuts and interesting details. Outside of work, I used to dress very casually, but now I put more thought into my outfits, especially when dining out or attending food events. I've started incorporating more elements of Brazilian style, like bold colors and patterns, as a way to represent my heritage in the international culinary scene.
Oh, my style has been quite a journey. In my teens, I was all about following trends and fitting in. But as I got into graphic design and became more immersed in Tokyo's creative scene, I started to see fashion as a form of self-expression. I went through a phase of very avant-garde, attention-grabbing outfits. Now, I've settled into a style that blends creative flair with professionalism. I mix unique, statement pieces with more classic items. I've also become more conscious about the quality and origin of my clothes, focusing on supporting local designers and sustainable brands.
My style evolution has been largely driven by practicality and a growing environmental consciousness. When I first started as a tour guide, I just wore whatever was comfortable and durable. Over time, I've learned to balance functionality with a more polished, professional appearance. I invest in high-quality outdoor wear that looks good and performs well. Outside of work, I used to be pretty careless about my clothing choices, but now I put more thought into building a versatile, sustainable wardrobe. I've also started to appreciate how my clothing choices can reflect my respect for the natural environments I work in.
My style has evolved significantly as I've become more aware of environmental issues and more connected to my Nigerian heritage. In my early teens, I was into fast fashion and whatever was trendy. As I learned about the environmental impact of the fashion industry, I started shifting towards more sustainable choices. I began exploring second-hand and vintage fashion, which also sparked my interest in different styles across decades. Simultaneously, I've been incorporating more traditional Nigerian elements into my wardrobe. Now, my style is a mix of sustainable fashion, vintage finds, and modern interpretations of traditional Nigerian clothing. It's become a way for me to express both my environmental values and my cultural identity.
If you could only keep 3 items from your current wardrobe, what would they be and why?
First, I'd keep my favorite pair of well-worn jeans. They're comfortable for long coding sessions and versatile enough for most occasions. Second, my smart casual blazer, which instantly makes me look more professional for important meetings. Lastly, my limited edition tech conference hoodie. It's comfortable, practical, and holds sentimental value from an event that was pivotal in my career.
I would definitely keep my favorite kaftan. It's not only beautiful and comfortable but also reminds me of special family celebrations. Second, I'd choose my most versatile teaching dress. It's professional, modest, and has pockets, which are essential for a teacher. Lastly, I'd keep my comfortable, supportive walking shoes. They're perfect for long days in the classroom and outings with my children.
My high-quality chef's knife would be the first item. It's essential for my work and has sentimental value. Second, I'd keep my favorite linen shirt. It's perfect for Brazil's climate and can be dressed up or down. Lastly, my well-fitted blazer. It's great for media appearances or dining at upscale restaurants.
First, my vintage leather jacket. It goes with everything and adds an edge to any outfit. Second, my favorite graphic print dress that I designed myself. It's unique and represents my creative skills. Lastly, my most comfortable pair of chunky boots. They're practical for walking around Tokyo and add character to my outfits.
I'd definitely keep my high-performance waterproof jacket. It's essential for my work in various weather conditions. Second, my broken-in hiking boots. They're comfortable, reliable, and have been with me on countless adventures. Lastly, my favorite flannel shirt. It's versatile, comfortable, and suits my outdoorsy style both at work and in my personal life.
First, I'd keep my hand-woven aso oke gele, traditional head tie. It's a beautiful representation of Nigerian craftsmanship and culture. Second, my upcycled denim jacket that I've customized with patches and embroidery. It tells a story and aligns with my sustainable fashion values. Lastly, my most comfortable pair of ethically made sandals. They're perfect for fieldwork and everyday wear, and support my commitment to responsible consumption.
How do you think technology will impact fashion in the future?
As a software engineer, I'm really excited about the potential impact of technology on fashion. I think we'll see more smart fabrics that can regulate temperature or even change color. Augmented reality could revolutionize online shopping, allowing us to virtually try on clothes before buying. 3D printing might enable custom-fit clothing on demand, reducing waste. We might also see more integration of tech into clothing, like built-in health monitors or devices for charging our gadgets. However, as exciting as these advancements are, we'll need to be mindful of privacy concerns and the environmental impact of tech-enhanced clothing.
As an educator, I'm fascinated by how technology might make fashion more accessible and educational. I think we'll see more adaptive clothing that can accommodate different needs, which could be great for inclusivity. Virtual try-on technology could make shopping easier for busy parents like me. In the classroom, I can imagine using augmented reality to show students how traditional clothing from different cultures has evolved over time. I also hope technology will help make fashion more sustainable, perhaps with new recycling methods or eco-friendly materials.
In the culinary world, we're always looking for innovations, and I think fashion will follow a similar path. I can see technology creating more functional clothing for chefs, perhaps fabrics that are more heat-resistant or stain-proof. Beyond that, I'm excited about the potential for technology to make fashion more sustainable. Maybe we'll have ways to easily recycle or upcycle old clothes into new ones. I also think technology could help us trace the origin of our clothes more easily, which is something I value in food and would appreciate in fashion too.
As a graphic designer, I'm thrilled about the possibilities technology brings to fashion. I think we'll see more digital fashion, where people can purchase virtual clothes for their online presence. Augmented reality could allow us to project different outfits onto ourselves in real time. 3D printing could revolutionize customization, allowing everyone to be their own designer. I also think we'll see more interactive clothing that can change patterns or colors based on our mood or environment. It's an exciting time for fashion and technology to merge.
In the outdoor and adventure industry, we're always looking for gear that can perform better in extreme conditions. I think technology will push this even further. We might see smart clothing that can adapt to different weather conditions or alert us to potential environmental hazards. GPS technology could be integrated more seamlessly into outdoor wear. On a broader scale, I hope technology will make fashion more sustainable. Perhaps we'll have better ways to recycle materials or create durable clothes that last longer, reducing the need for frequent replacements.
As an environmental science student, I'm both excited and cautious about technology's impact on fashion. On one hand, technology could help make fashion more sustainable. We might see innovations in recycling processes, development of new eco-friendly materials, or technologies that help extend the life of our clothes. AI could potentially optimize supply chains to reduce waste. On the other hand, we need to be careful that tech-enhanced clothing doesn't create new environmental problems, like electronic waste. I hope technology will ultimately help us create a more circular and sustainable fashion industry, perhaps with innovations like clothes that can be easily disassembled and recycled at the end of their life.
If you could design your dream outfit, what would it look like?
My dream outfit would be the perfect blend of comfort, functionality, and subtle tech-inspired style. I'd start with a pair of jeans made from a stretchy, breathable smart fabric that regulates temperature. The jeans would have hidden, secure pockets for all my devices. I'd pair this with a crisp, wrinkle-resistant button-up shirt with a subtle circuit board pattern. Over this, I'd wear a lightweight, water-resistant jacket with built-in heating elements for cold days. The jacket would have a flexible display on the sleeve to check notifications or control smart home devices. For shoes, I go for sleek, self-lacing sneakers with shock-absorbing soles for comfort during long hours at the desk. To top it off, I'd add a stylish smartwatch that seamlessly integrates with the rest of the outfit.
My dream outfit would be a modern take on traditional Moroccan dress, perfect for both teaching and family life. I'd start with a long, flowing skirt in a vibrant pattern inspired by Moroccan tiles. The fabric would be lightweight, breathable, and miraculously stain-resistant, perfect for a mother and teacher. I'd pair this with a comfortable, modest top in a complementary solid color, perhaps with subtle, elegant embroidery around the neckline. Over this, I'd wear a versatile, long cardigan with roomy pockets for carrying teaching supplies and snacks for the kids. The outfit would be completed with comfortable, stylish flats and a beautiful, colorful scarf that could double as a head covering if needed. Each piece would be ethically made using sustainable practices, reflecting both my cultural values and my desire to set a good example for my students and children.
My dream outfit would be a perfect fusion of chef's practicality and Brazilian style. I'd start with a high-tech chef's jacket made from an ultra-lightweight, breathable material that's both heat-resistant and stain-proof. Or pants, I'd choose a pair of sleek, flexible trousers with hidden vents for temperature control. They'd have plenty of well-designed pockets for all my chef's tools. The shoes would be incredibly comfortable and slip-resistant, but stylish enough to wear out of the kitchen. To top it off, I'd add a bandana made from moisture-wicking fabric, printed with a pattern inspired by Brazilian street art. The whole outfit would be designed to transition seamlessly from the kitchen to a TV appearance or a night out, representing both my profession and my cultural heritage.
My dream outfit would be a bold, artistic statement piece that showcases my design skills and love for Japanese street fashion. I'd start with an avant-garde dress featuring a digital print that I've designed myself, inspired by a fusion of traditional Japanese art and modern Tokyo cityscapes. The dress would have an asymmetrical hemline and incorporate some origami-inspired foldable elements that can change its shape. Over this, I'd wear a holographic jacket that changes color depending on the angle and lighting. For shoes, I'd go for platform boots with clear soles filled with miniature moving art pieces. Accessories would include oversized, geometric earrings that double as Bluetooth earphones, and a clutch bag that unfolds into a functional laptop sleeve. The entire outfit would be made from eco-friendly, recycled materials, merging my love for bold fashion with my growing commitment to sustainability.
My dream outfit would be the ultimate adventure gear, stylish enough for city tours but rugged enough for wilderness expeditions. I'd start with a pair of convertible pants made from an ultra-durable, quick-drying fabric with built-in UV protection. They'd easily zip off into shorts and have plenty of secure, waterproof pockets. The shirt would be a moisture-wicking, odor-resistant Henley in a natural, earthy tone. It would have subtle ventilation zones and thumb holes in the sleeves for extra coverage when needed. Over this, I'd wear a high-tech jacket with climate control features, cooling for hot days and heating for cold ones. It would be waterproof yet breathable, with a built-in hydration system and solar panels to charge devices. The outfit would be completed with multi-terrain boots, lightweight but sturdy, with self-adjusting cushioning for ultimate comfort. A wide-brimmed, packable hat with a built-in mosquito net would top it off. Every piece would be designed with sustainability in mind, using recycled or eco-friendly materials wherever possible.
My dream outfit would be a beautiful blend of traditional Nigerian style, modern design, and sustainable innovation. I'd start with a vibrant, ankle-length dress made from organic, locally sourced cotton, featuring a bold Ankara print that I've designed myself, incorporating symbols of environmental conservation. The dress would have a modern cut with subtle traditional Nigerian design elements. Over this, I'd wear a lightweight, sleeveless duster coat made from recycled plastic bottles, showcasing how waste can be transformed into fashion. For shoes, I'd choose comfortable, ethically made sandals crafted from sustainable materials like natural rubber and recycled tire soles. I'd accessorize with bold jewelry made from recycled metals and featuring traditional Nigerian motifs. The centerpiece would be a statement head wrap, gele, made from a special fabric that can filter air pollution when activated. Each piece of the outfit would be designed for versatility, able to be styled multiple ways to extend its use. The entire ensemble would be a walking statement of my commitment to blending cultural celebration with environmental responsibility.
That's all for today's daily English room conversation practice. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button. See you next time.